What if the only man who stood between Africa's future and its destruction was killed tonight? What if the only leader who refused to sell his people for gold was silenced forever? This is not just about one man. This is about the soul of a nation. And the question every African must ask: what happens when courage becomes a threat and truth becomes a crime? If they hang Ibrahim Traoré, then they are not just killing a leader, they are destroying the last hope of a people rising from centuries of chains. They want to make an example out of him, so no one else dares to say no again. But the question is, will we let that happen? Will we watch in silence? Or will we rise before it is too late? Asterisk, they came in silence, but their silence was loud because the whole world knew what was happening. The traitors had opened the doors, and the foreign masters had sent their shadows. They did not knock. They kicked the gates of my home and dragged me out like I was the enemy of the very land I defended. They covered my face, but they could not cover the truth, because the ground still knew my footsteps. They threw me into darkness like a thief, but I was not afraid, because I had already lived for something greater than fear. They said I was a danger, but it was never about me. It was about what I had stopped. I had shut down their pipelines. I had broken their contracts. I had ended their gold theft. I had said no more uranium for Europe. No more military bases without our permission. No more foreign troops playing gods on our soil. They tortured me, but what hurt them more was my silence, because they wanted me to beg. They wanted me to fold. They wanted me to say yes to what I had already buried. They beat me and asked, why did you cancel the French mining licenses? Why did you send Russian weapons instead of asking Washington, why did you block the billion-dollar trade deals that made your people poor? They asked these questions, not for answers, but to hear me say sorry. But I was not sorry, and I will never be. Put me in a courtroom, not to prove guilt, but to perform a ritual the same ritual they did with leaders before me, leaders who stood against the empire leaders, who said Africa is not for sale. They said I was a traitor while sitting beside real traitors, the ones who had sold the soil, the air, the future of our children for bank accounts and visa stamps. Then came the offer. They sat me down in chains, but spoke like businessmen. They said, Captain, the world does not hate you. We just need you to cooperate. They said, if you agree to restore the gold contracts with Europe, if you reopen the rare earth exports, if you allow NATO training camps back in the Sahel, if you silence the voice of Pan-Africanism, if you step down and let our partners take over, we will not only forgive you, we will send you to live in luxury in any country you choose. They smiled as if they were offering peace, but I saw the blood on their hands. I saw the betrayal behind their teeth. They did not want my forgiveness. They wanted my surrender. I told them no. I told them I would rather walk barefoot to the gallows than fly first class to exile. I said I would rather be buried in my land with honor than live with my name written in shame. I looked into their eyes and said, I am not the one on trial. Your system is, and it has already been found guilty. And they hated that, because men like me are dangerous, not because of guns, but because we cannot be bought, not by gold, not by promises, not by fear. They said, this is your last chance. And I said then, I will make my last breath louder than your lies. Now I sit in a dark cell where light does not enter, but my heart still burns. I hear them planning my execution, like cowards who celebrate in shadows. They think this is the end, but they forget that the death of one voice can awaken 1,000 Moreto. My people in Burkina Faso, if you hear this, I speak not to ask for tears. I speak to ask for fire. Do not mourn me, rise for me. I am not dying. I am becoming part of the land itself. They are killing me not because I failed, but because I succeeded, because I exposed the deal, because I stopped the bleeding, because I dared to say Africa first. This is not justice. This is revenge, and behind this revenge is not just your local traitors, but the very empires who looted us for centuries, who still believe they can buy our leaders and silence our revolutions. But this time they are wrong. You may hang me, you may erase my name from the news, but you will never erase the awakening that has begun from Ouagadougou to Bamako to Niamey. Our people are rising, and your fear is justified, because we are not afraid. Anymore, this is my last message, and my greatest gift to you, my people. I chose to die for you, because living without dignity is not living at all. Bury me with no flag, but raise the flag of truth above my grave, and if my body swings from the rope, let it swing like a pendulum that counts down the end of your empire, because I am not finished, I am only beginning. Asterisk, if they succeed in killing Ibrahim Traoré, they will not stop there. They will strip Burkina Faso of every ounce of gold, every drop of oil, every grain of its soil. They will turn our proud children back into beggars and send our future to foreign banks. They will erase his memory from the books and replace it with puppets who smile and bow while their country is looted. The roads that were being built will be broken. The schools that were opening will be shut. The young soldiers who once walked with pride will be disarmed and used to guard foreign corporations. The voice of Pan-Africanism will be silenced, and the chains we once broke will be put back around our necks with shiny words like democracy and peace. But if we remember this sacrifice, if we carry his fire in our hearts, then they may kill the man, but they can never kill the revolution. If Traore dies standing, then we must rise walking. If his blood touches the soil, then let it water the roots of a new Africa that will never kneel again, not to Europe, not to America, not to anyone, but its own people.